Let's jump back into our lesson today. Welcome back, boys and girls. Listen to these words and listen for the sound in the final or last position. Maple, sample, dimple. What sound do you hear in the final position? Maple, sample, dimple. We hear the pull sound at the end of each of these words. Let's take a look at these words up on the board. Maple, sample, dimple. What is making the pull sound in these words? That's right. P-L-E is making the pull sound. Listen to these words and listen for the sound that's in the final or last position. Riddle, handle, fiddle. What sound do you hear in the final position? Riddle, handle, fiddle. That's right. We hear the dull sound at the end of each of these words. Let's look at the words up on the board. Riddle, handle, fiddle. What is making the dull sound in each of these words? D-L-E is making the dull sound in each of these words. D-L-E and P-L-E are final stable syllables. How do we code a final stable syllable? With a bracket. Also, the E is silent, so we need to cross it out. And we put an accent mark after our first syllable. Let's finish coding this word. Look at the vowel. Remember, don't get tricked here. The P is part of final stable syllable P-L-E, so it's separate. So an open, accented vowel is long, and we code it with a macron. This is the word maple. Sometimes you'll see a word with a digraph or combination in the syllable before the final stable syllable. All you need to do is bracket off the final stable syllable and code the digraph or combination just like you always do. This is the word noodle. Look at these words, and let's see if we can find the final stable syllable in each of these words. Let's start with the first word. Where is the final stable syllable? That's right, final stable syllable, G-L-E, gull. We're going to cross out our E just like we learned because it's silent and put an accent after our first syllable. Let's take a look at our next word. Where is the final stable syllable? Final stable syllable, T-L-E. So we're going to bracket it off and we're going to cross out our E because it's silent and add an accent mark to the end of our first syllable. Let's look at the next word. Where is the final stable syllable? Final stable syllable, F-L-E. So we're going to bracket it off and our E is silent and we add an accent mark after the first syllable. Where is the final stable syllable? Final stable syllable, KLE. So we're going to cross out our E because it is silent and add an accent mark after our first syllable. Let's take a look at this word. Where is the final stable syllable? It should be final stable syllable, CLE. So we're going to cross out our E because it is silent, and we're going to put an accent mark after our first syllable. But hold on, we got one more thing to do to this syllable. We need to add a K back to the letter C to remember that it goes k, k, k. Now this word. Where is our final stable syllable? Final stable syllable, ZLE. So we're going to cross out our E because it is silent, and we're going to put an accent mark after our first syllable. Let's finish coding our words. Let's look at the first syllable in this word. Look for the vowel. We see a vowel followed by a consonant. So it's going to be short, and we're going to code it with a breve. And this is the word juggle. The clown will juggle at the circus. Let's finish coding this word. We also see a vowel followed by a consonant, so we're going to code it with a breve. And this is the word little. Little. I saw a little girl playing at the playground. Now let's finish this word. Remember what we talked about. Final stable syllable, FLE, is separate. So we're just going to look at the first syllable, RI. And we have an open, accented vowel, so it's going to be long, and we're going to code it with a macron. And this is the word rifle. The soldier had his rifle. Now let's look at this word. We see a vowel followed by a consonant, so we're going to code it with a breve. And we have the word sprinkle. It will sprinkle with rain today. Now let's code this word. Look for the vowel in the first syllable. It's followed by a consonant, so it's going to be coded with a breve. And this is the word uncle. My uncle will visit us today. And our last word. We also have a vowel followed by a consonant, so we're going to code it with a breve. And we have the word puzzle. We will finish working on the puzzle tonight. So, boys and girls, we have some new cards for today. When we see this card, we're going to say final stable syllable, DLE. And to remember what sound final stable syllable DLE makes, we have the keyword candle. So when we see this card, we're going to say candle, dull. We also have this card. And when we see this one, we're going to say final stable syllable, PLE. And to help us remember what sound final stable syllable PLE makes, we have staple, pull. We also have this one. So when we see this card, we're going to say final stable syllable, G-L-E. And to help us remember what sound final stable syllable G-L-E makes, we have bugle, goal. We also have this card. So when we see this one, we're going to say final stable syllable, T-L-E. And to help us remember the sound for final stable syllable, T-L-E, we have bottle, toll. And last, when we see this card, we're going to say final stable syllable, F-L-E. And to remember what sound final stable syllable F-L-E makes, we have this card. Ruffle, full. Now, since we've learned some new sounds today, we're going to practice how we're going to say them and write them. When I say dull, we're going to say and write final stable syllable, D-L-E. And when I say full, you're going to say and write final stable syllable, F-L-E. When I say goal, you're going to say and write final stable syllable, G-L-E. When I say pull, you're going to say and write final stable syllable, P-L-E. And when I say toll, you're going to say and write final stable syllable, T-L-E. Great job, boys and girls. We're going to keep practicing with those final stable syllables, so keep an eye out for them. Now let's go ahead and let's practice coding some words up on the board. But before we do that, let's review some of our rules. We have our vowel consonant rule. A vowel followed by a consonant is short, and we code it with a breve. We also have our long vowel rule. An open, accented vowel is long, and we code it with a macron. And we have our vowel consonant E rule. A vowel followed by a consonant and a silent E is long. Code the vowel with a macron and cross out the silent E. We've also learned about this symbol. This is a schwa, and we use it when one of our vowels goes We'll usually see this with the word the and the word We have these phrases up on our board that we're going to code today. Let's start with the first word in our first phrase. What do you see at the end of the word? We just talked about it today. Yes, final stable syllable, P-L-E. So we're going to bracket it off, and our E is silent. And we're going to put an accent mark after our first syllable. Now let's code our first syllable. We see digraph E. So let's underline it. And we're going to cross out our second E and put a macron over the first one because it's going to make its long sound. Now let's look at our next word. We have a vowel followed by a consonant, so we're going to code it with a breve. Let's look at the next one. We know this word. How do we code the vowel in this word? With a schwa, because it's going to go And we know we have digraph th in this word, and it is making its voiced sound. Let's look at the last word. We have digraph o. This phrase says steeple on the roof. A steeple is kind of a pointy part that goes up on top of something, like a house. So steeple on the roof. Let's look at our next phrase. Let's start with the first word first. We have sneaky E, so let's cross it out, and it's going to jump over and make the letter U long and say its name. What else do we need to do to this word? We need to add a K back to the letter C to remind us that it makes the K sound. Now let's look at the last word. We've practiced this word before. So we're going to bracket off our final stable syllable, BLE, and our E is going to be silent. And we're going to put an accent mark after our first syllable. Don't get tricked here, you all know this. An open accented vowel is long, and we're going to code it with a macron. And this says cute table. Let's take a look at this word up on our board. Now look at the coding I have used for this word. The macron over the letter A means that it's making the long sound. The other letters do not have any coding, so they are pronounced as usual. Now that we understand coding, we will occasionally try to read words that I have already coded for you. This is the word pastes. The little boy pastes the picture on his paper. Great job today, boys and girls. We learned a lot more today about final stable syllables. Keep an eye out for them in your reading. It'll help you to figure out the words that you see on the paper. We'll see you later. Bye.